Hi, Jenny here. Today we are going to make a new to me cookie. We are going to make chocolate crinkle cookies. The good and the bad of this cookie is that the dough is supposed to be refrigerated for 4 hours. So I tend to have, in the past, stayed away from dough that needed to be refrigerated because usually when I'm baking, I just want to like go and get stuff done. So even in that case, it's like I haven't had breakfast yet, figured let's get the dough going so it can sit in the fridge, then I can have breakfast and we'll go from there. So let's get started. For this recipe we need 1 cup of cocoa powder, 1 3/4 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, 4 eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 cup of powdered sugar. We are going to start by mixing together our sugar, cocoa powder, and oil. And get that going. Paddle's in my way to pour that in there, so get that in there. We'll add the cocoa powder. I'm going to do it down low so it won't poof up. And go ahead and add that oil. We will start off with beating this on a low speed. So again, just like when we're always adding our flour, we don't want that cocoa powder to poof up as much as possible until it starts getting combined, and then we can go just a little bit faster. This is one of those recipes that it would be nice to have a clear bowl that you can kind of see what's going on in there. So we have kind of a fudgy batter at the moment. It did mix up nicely. Kind of want that sugar to kind of dissolve a little bit in the liquid. So we'll scrape down the paddle a little bit here. Go ahead and scrape down the edges. I would say edges. Scrape down the bowl. So, we'll scrape that down. This just looks so fudgy. Alright. We will go ahead and add our eggs, trying to go one at a time. I know other recipes, when I normally have like 2 eggs, I usually just do both of them at once. But with having 4 eggs, we will mix them up individually. Then we'll add our vanilla and then we'll scrape at the end. And for that. Whee! Go ahead and add that vanilla. If you don't want to add vanilla, or you want a different taste to the cookie, you could add peppermint flavoring or rum. Probably even do almond, but this point you have more of a liquidy type of a dough. You can keep beating when it's at this point. Keep going until you know it's well mixed, or you don't have to worry about going too long. So once you get the flour in there, that then the flour can go a little bit too long and make it more doughy than necessary. I have seen these cookies colored, as opposed to just a chocolate cookie. I have seen them in a red or a green dough form, so again, making them a little bit more of a holiday cookie, I suppose, more Christmassy. I decided I wanted to try the basic chocolate one first. Being the first time I'm trying these cookies, I like chocolate, so I'm like, they look delicious. Let's try that first. Okay, into our flour we are going to mix that baking powder. And again, remember it's baking powder, not baking soda. Always make sure when I'm reading recipes to double check when it does say just powder. And I'm like, is there any baking soda? And then our salt. And we'll mix those together a little bit. Again, we'll add this in slowly, but not too slowly, because again, we don't want this one to overmix. Whoops, I was gonna wipe it down one more time. I see some egg off onto the side. So one more time, we're gonna scrape down the sides. Just make sure everything gets mixed well, nothing is missed. Is nice and, like I said, flowy, nice and shiny as it should be. Alright, now we'll go ahead and add that flour mixture. Move you for this one. Alright, there you go. Not as thick as the beginning, not as liquidy as the second time. Now we've got that flour mixture in there. I'm just pouring off there. It looks like a nice icing. So it's supposed to be a very nice, like, fudgy cookie. So this looks pretty perfect. We will clean off the batter, and then I'll scrape down the sides one more time. We will go ahead one more time and wipe down the sides, incorporate any extra flour that is on the sides. Just mix it just a tad. Yeah, make sure everything is all mixed up well. Well, this is fudgy, all right. Ho, ho, ho. Looks delicious. Actually looks like one of those cans of frosting you get from the store. That's so fudgy good. Alright. Now, if you either have one of those cozy bowl type shower caps, a bowl cover, you can put that on. Otherwise, I'm just going to use some saran wrap. We are going to cover this up and put it in the fridge, like I said, for about that 4 hours. 4 hours, you can go overnight. Sometimes that's easier, that when you're making batches of cookies and you're getting tired or whatever, you think, oh, you know what, let me at least get this one mixed, put it in the fridge, and then you can bake it the next day or two. I will do mine hopefully today. I was only going to do one batch of cookies. That's okay. I have things to do because I've been baking, so I'm a little behind in other stuff. So, okay. So like I said, cover it with saran wrap. This way too, the dough will harden up enough that you'll be able to scoop it and then roll it into balls, so then we can roll it in powdered sugar. And when it bakes, it should have that very nice crinkle texture, so that when it needs saran wrap big enough that it's actually going to stick. And saran wrap at the end, or you have to fight with it. Okay. Anyways, so yes, refrigerating it will harden up the dough, so we'll be able to scoop it out, roll it into balls, and then when it cooks, it should be that good texture where it's kind of fudgy in the middle, a little crinkly on the outside, a little crunchy, and very tasty. So I'll see you in a couple hours. Once the dough has been in the refrigerator for about that 4 hours or longer, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. We'll go ahead and I'll take that off. I think I'm going to save that after traying up one tray of cookies. In reality, this should go back in the refrigerator so that it can stay cold, as cold as can be before baking. So that again, they'll spread the right amount. This is nice and shiny. Should be a good texture. We are going to get our hands a little bit fudgy here. So I've got my small scoop. We will just scoop out an amount of dough. And then roll them into a ball. So I think usually too, the colder they are, the easier they'll be able to roll into the ball and shouldn't get your hands too fudgy. We'll go ahead and dip them in the powdered sugar and either roll them around, cover them up. So you may or may not need more powdered sugar depending on how much you put in your cookie. And we'll go ahead, put that on the tray and keep going. So this is nice when I made my other cookies that were kind of like this, that my peanut butter kiss cookies. I could roll the dough and my daughter could do the powdered sugar part, or well, not powdered sugar. She did sprinkle part. That was it. So it was nice. I could keep my hands going and dirty with just the cookie part. And she could keep her hands dirty with just the sprinkle part. Because otherwise, when you're doing both and you've already got dough on your hands, then it's a little bit harder. Although sometimes, at least with the powdered sugar, then when you put the dough on again, this part can go into the cookie, and it kind of helps make it a little less sticky to your fingers. Dun, dun, dun. I think the other type of cookies that I've made, at least with powdered sugar, are like the Mexican wedding cakes or pecan fingers. Those are really good cookies too. Of course, as I'm making these, and I'm thinking, oh, this cookie would be good and that cookie would be good. I'm like, nope, not this year. This year I've got my few picked out that I'm going to make. So maybe I'll make my list for next year, what I want to make. Maybe do some different ones every year. Then again, also as you hand them out, you always have the people that say, oh, I love this cookie. This cookie's my favorite that you make. And so that's always nice too, to try to remember that and go, oh yeah, I'll make this cookie because so-and-so likes it. Do you like to make cookies that are in the powdered sugar? Have you made those cookies that I mentioned? Mexican wedding cakes, I think I've made those. I think I have a video on this channel with that. I'm trying to think, one of the first times that I think I heard of those, or maybe even got the recipe and wanted to try them, was in my Spanish class in high school. We had, our Spanish teacher was actually from Spain. And I don't think I remember that. She handed out some recipes. Maybe we did like a little Christmas party or something in class. And so she gave us recipes to make or try. Let's put this a little higher. So I remember making them then, and that's kind of a favorite of a few people's. They're like, ooh, I love that recipe. All right. I will put my dough back in the refrigerator, wait for the oven to preheat. These will bake at, like I said, 350 degrees for like 10 to 12 minutes. All right, let's see. 10 minutes, and there we go. The powdered sugar has broken apart as the cookie has spread, hence the name Crinkle Cookies. Now I will put them on my cooling rack to cool. After they've cooled on here a little bit, we'll remove them to the other cooling rack to cool completely. While those cookies are cooling, we go ahead and start the process all over again. So I pulled the dough out of the refrigerator, and again, we just make our scoops and roll them into a ball. So you can do that. Again, you can do that either with your hands. You can pinch them or roll them in the palms of your hand. Just knowing that they are a little bit fudgy. As you keep going and you get a little more powdered sugar on your hands, then it makes it almost a little easier, but roll them into a nice ball. Seems my last ones were pretty good ball shape though, and I had pinched those together with my hand. Put this way too, using the scoop. All your cookies should be the same size then. You have pretty much the same amount of dough in each cookie, so they'll all bake the same. So I think they turned out pretty nicely, being my first time making these. Take some of this off the back so my cookie scoop doesn't stick too much to my cup. Fairly easy. Just a matter of knowing ahead of time which of your cookie doughs need to be refrigerated. I've done that before where I've chosen a cookie I wanted to make, and I start going, and then it was like, oh, refrigerate for whatever. I'm like, oh, okay. So then, like my own little cookbooks and stuff that I have recipes in, I would make sure I'd put at the top of the recipe by the name. I'd put a little asterisk because I was saying, and put on there, needs refrigeration, so that I would know ahead of time. Like, okay, plan for that. Plan ahead. So I kind of did that with the cookies that I knew I was going to make for this season. I went ahead and looked at all of them and their directions and obviously ingredients, make sure I had everything I needed, figure out the time frame that I would need. So when you make cookies, do you do them all in like a day or two? You take a week, maybe a weekend? You spread it out? It's nice with some of the doughs too that you can freeze them. So sometimes you can make the dough itself and freeze that, or more so you can do the cookie shapes. You can have like this part ready, put them in the freezer to kind of freeze them or whatever, and then put them in a baggie afterwards. And then when you're up for it, you just grab out however many cookies you want. You can just do like 1 dozen at a time or something if you just want a special cookie for dessert that day, or if you have friends coming over, or you can make a small batch of homemade cookies. So that's kind of nice too. Dun, dun, dun. Alrighty. Now we will go ahead and get these in the oven. Alright, we will get these cookies over to the cookie other cooling rack. And we'll let them cool completely. The chocolate crinkle cookies are finished. They are nice and small. They're smaller than I thought. I thought they would be a little bit larger, but they do have that crinkle finish on them, so they look very pretty. The only thing with these type of cookies is because of all the powder sugar that it's going to get powder sugar all over the place. A little bit messy, but they look very pretty. They reminded me also of rum balls. As I was doing my, I think, 3rd tray of these, and making the balls round, put them in the powder sugar, and either had a waft of, the scent or whatever. But I was like, oh yeah, rum balls, that's right. Thought about that when I cleaned out our liquor cabinet. I thought, yeah, the only time I pretty much used rum was when I made my rum balls at Christmas. So anyways, let's see how they taste. If they have a little bit of fudginess inside, if they're cooked the same all the way through. They don't look like extra fudgy inside. They are cooked all the way, which is good. They actually taste like a brownie. And you have very, I would say more cake-like brownie than fudgy. As the fudgy is more thick, it's almost like what that batter looked like in the beginning. So saying it looked like frosting. But now that I think about it, that kind of looks like brownie batter. So interesting. They're sweet, they're very delicious, they're very chocolatey. I like them. I don't need that extra fudginess in the middle. Then I always wonder, it's like, is the cookie cooked all the way through? Is it baked? Did it do its job? I don't want anything raw in there. So, very good. I will have to see how these pack, because I was thinking about that too with the rum balls when I put them all away. They stayed pretty much powder sugary, but whether these will keep with the crinkle look or not as I put stuff on top. But overall, this is a delicious cookie. So again, let me know if you've ever made these before. I was trying to think if one of the videos that I saw making this, that he may have said something about putting rum in there, now that I think about it. But anyways, yeah. Let me know if you've done this. Like I said too, this is also one where the batter had to be refrigerated 4 hours or overnight. Like I said, the good and the bad of that depends on if you're doing a lot of baking. Like in the meantime, while I had that in the refrigerator, I could have made another batch of cookies. Because I'm recording, I didn't do that. Yesterday I did. I made 2 batches, but today I wanted 1 batch to do because I was so tired yesterday. I thought, okay, I'm just gonna make 1 today and go. But if I would have had, if I would have just been making these for like myself to be giving out, I would have made a 2nd batch while this was cooling. So that's good to do. Good to know. Again, one of those things, like I said, knowing ahead of time which batters need to be refrigerated, and then you can do that and then still go ahead and do other things. So yeah, let me know if you do a lot of baking, if you do that, if you make the refrigerated cookies and then do that and keep going, or do you just like to do like 1 batch a day? How do you do it? Let me know. I'm going to finish enjoying my snack. I'll leave this recipe down below. You guys, keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye.